I watched my mother succumb to a disease that should have been curable. Stage 1 cancer, misdiagnosed, now stage 4 and fatal. We should have been celebrating life milestones together, not watching her wither away in a hospital bed. As her son, I'm left shattered and questioning every decision made in the healthcare system that failed her. Jennifer, my mom, was only 54. I can still see her dancing in the kitchen, her laughter filling the air as she twirled to her favorite song. The sweet scent of fresh coffee and vanilla reminds me of her unwavering kindness. An English teacher, she always brewed coffee for her students, fostering a warm classroom. She dreamed of traveling to Italy, immersing herself in the art and culture she taught about every day. I trusted the doctors implicitly, believing they would always recognize her pain and act, keeping her safe. If you're watching this, subscribe and tell me where you're listening from. But one day, the persistent stomach discomfort turned into severe, unmanageable abdominal pain. Her vibrant energy drained, replaced by dramatic weight loss over a frighteningly short time. We knew something was terribly wrong. On March 10, 2023, we rushed her to the Riverbend Hospital ER, desperate for answers, convinced they would quickly find a benign explanation for her sudden, intense suffering. Jennifer leaned heavily on the gurney, her face stark white under the glaring fluorescent lights of Riverbend Hospital's ER. Her abdominal pain had escalated sharply, an insistent burning ache. Dr. Alex Stone, the emergency physician, moved with a practiced haste. He barely glanced at us as he reviewed her chart, his pen already poised. "Likely just gastritis," he stated, his voice echoing in the sterile room. "Maybe a viral infection going around Springfield." I tried to catch his eye, my own chest tightening. "What about the lab results, doctor?" I saw a number, CA-125, on the screen. It looked high. He waved a dismissive hand. "Oh, that's a protein marker. Can be elevated with any inflammation. Nothing to worry about right now." He scribbled quickly, handing over prescriptions for antacids and some generic pain relievers. A rush of relief momentarily eased my shoulders. A simple fix sounded plausible. But watching Mom, pale and barely able to sit up straight, a cold knot formed in my stomach. She didn't look like someone with a simple bug. We left the hospital that evening, stepping into the cool Oregon night. The antacids did nothing. Her pain stayed, a dull, relentless throb beneath her ribs. Several days passed. The promised relief never came. Instead, her bloating grew more pronounced. I called Riverbend's outpatient clinic, trying to explain the worsening symptoms, begging for a deeper look. The nurse, polite but firm, reiterated Dr. Stone's initial assessment. "Continue with the prescribed medications, Mr. Hartwell. It often takes time for these things to clear up." She sounded dismissive, the same underlying message. We were clinging to the hope of a simple explanation. But with each passing hour, the unease gnawed at me, growing into a silent, festering worry. This wasn't just a stomach bug. I still replay that evening, March 10th, 2023. We left Riverbend Hospital, stepping into the cool Springfield, Oregon night. Dr. Stone had waved off Mom's CA-125, prescribing antacids for gastritis. Relief, brief and false, washed over me. Mom, Jennifer Hartwell, a high school English teacher, looked like a ghost. The next few days blurred into a haze of escalating pain. The antacids did nothing. Her abdomen swelled, a persistent bloat pressing against her ribs. I called Riverbend's outpatient clinic on Monday, March 13th, trying to explain the worsening symptoms, begging for a deeper look. The nurse, polite but firm, reiterated Dr. Stone's initial assessment. "It often takes time for these things to clear up, Mr. Hartwell." Her voice held a bureaucratic dismissal. We were clinging to hope, but my unease festered. By Wednesday, March 15th, Jennifer's fatigue was profound, a heavy weight pulling her down. Her eyelids fluttered constantly. She woke drenched in sweat. I drove her to our family GP, Dr. Evelyn Shaw, her office in a small building on Elm Avenue. "She looks drained," Dr. Shaw noted, checking Mom's vitals. "Could be a mild flu going around." She prescribed rest and more fluids, attributing the abdominal swelling to possible inflammation. I insisted, my voice firmer this time. "Doctor, this isn't just the flu. She's lost 5 pounds this week. Her pain is constant." Dr. Shaw, visibly overwhelmed by a packed waiting room, simply shook her head. "Sometimes stress can manifest in physical symptoms, David. Let's give it another few days." That sliver of false hope, the idea it might still be a simple viral bug, felt like a cruel joke. 2 days later, on Friday, March 17th, Mom could barely stand. Her once vibrant skin had a waxy pallor, and her weight loss was undeniable, her clothes hanging loose. The relentless abdominal pain now radiated to her back. "We need a scan now," I pleaded with the emergency room doctor at St. Mary's Medical Center. Dr. Thomas Hale, an oncologist, reviewed her chart quickly. He scanned the notes on the CA-125 level, which had been elevated for days, but didn't order immediate imaging. Gastritis exacerbation, he stated, his authority dismissing my desperation. He acknowledged the elevated ovarian cancer risk assessment, OKRA score, of 15, far above the threshold of 10 for urgent imaging, but attributed it to general inflammation. We'll hydrate her. Let's monitor. That night, alone in the hospital room, the sterile antiseptic smell was overwhelming. Mom's hand, clammy and frail, slipped from mine. Her cries of pain were guttural, a stark contrast to her gentle spirit. Nurse Emily Clark, a junior staffer, checked in briefly. Her discomfort is off the charts, she whispered to herself, glancing at the monitor. Dr. Sarah Kim, a resident, arrived, her brow furrowed. Her OKRA score has been high for 4 days now. We really should get her to imaging. But an attending physician, pulling rank, dismissed the concern. It's a weekend. Scans are backed up. Stick to the current plan. My mom's cries escalated into screams. I watched, helpless as her body arched, her face contorted in agony. The true crisis had begun. Jennifer's guttural screams ripped through the hospital room. Her body arched, contorted by raw agony, collapsing back onto the bed. The monitor above her bed began its frantic, piercing shriek, its steady rhythm lost in the sudden chaos. "Code blue, stat!" Nurse Emily Clark yelled, slamming the call button. White coats blurred in a frantic rush, doctors and nurses swarming. I was shoved back against the cold wall, helpless. Dr. Sarah Kim, the resident, fought to the bedside, her face a mask of desperate urgency, ready to intervene. Just moments before, I'd been pleading again. "Get a scan now. This isn't gastritis." Now my words were swallowed by the frantic sounds. I stood, a useless witness, my chest tight, unable to move. Dr. Hale, the oncologist, pushed through the commotion. He joined the frenzied efforts, barking urgent orders, hands pressed, chests compressed in rhythmic motion. Machines whirred, IV lines adjusted rapidly in a desperate attempt. But the monitor's flat line pulsed, an unwavering, chilling tone filling the sterile air. Time stretched. All efforts, however desperate, gradually ceased. The room fell silent, except for that single, high-pitched wail. Dr. Hale stepped back, his shoulders slumped, face grim. He met my eyes, voice a low, somber whisper. "I'm so sorry, David. She's gone." My legs gave out completely, crumbling to the cold linoleum floor. The overwhelming antiseptic smell choked me. 8 short days after her initial ER visit, my mom, Jennifer Hartwell, was lost to the very system sworn to protect her. Weeks later, the sterile smell of antiseptic still clung to my clothes, even after countless washes. On June 1st, 2023, I sat across from Dr. Linda Lawson, Chief Inspector of Health Services, in a nondescript office building in Portland, Oregon. She presented the findings of the administrative investigation into Mom's death. My hands gripped the arms of my chair. The official report, dense with medical jargon, reconstructed Jennifer's final 8 days. Dr. Lawson's voice was calm, but her words sliced through my lingering grief. The early detection and treatment of ovarian cancer protocol was unfortunately bypassed, she stated, sliding a page across the table. This protocol required mandatory imaging for specific criteria. She began with March 10, 2023. Your mother presented with severe abdominal pain, Mr. Hartwell. Her CA-125 level was elevated. My chest tightened. A score above normal limits should have triggered immediate imaging by the emergency doctor at Riverbend. Instead, she was sent home with antacids. The words hit hard. I had trusted them. Then, March 18, 2023. Upon readmission to St. Mary's, significant weight loss was documented. Dr. Lawson pointed to a line in the chart. Over 10% in a month. This should have prompted a complete assessment and imaging from Dr. Hale, the oncologist. Instead, her treatment was paused without further analysis. My jaw clenched. Mom looked like a ghost that day. Finally, March 20th, 2023. Her pain had escalated. The ovarian cancer risk assessment, or OKRA score, reached a 15. I knew the threshold, 10 or higher for urgent action. This alarm was noted by Dr. Kim, the resident, but dismissed as flu-like symptoms by an attending physician who cited backed-up scans. No new care plan was created. The anger, hot and sharp, now replaced the cold ache of loss. I pushed back from the table, my voice raw, barely a whisper. "So, this was preventable?" My breath hitched. Dr. Lawson nodded slowly. "Our findings indicate that with proper protocol adherence, early detection was highly probable." The truth landed like a physical blow. The agony Mom endured, the life she lost. It hadn't needed to happen. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a catastrophic failure. My hands trembled, but a new resolve hardened in my eyes. Jennifer Hartwell deserved better, and I would make damn sure this never happened to another family. Weeks later, the sterile smell of antiseptics still clung to my clothes, even after countless washes. On June 1, 2023, I sat across from Dr. Linda Lawson, Chief Inspector of Health Services, in a nondescript office building in Portland, Oregon. Her administrative investigation into Mom's death was underway. My hands gripped the arms of my chair. "Mr. Hartwell, please describe your mother's condition on March 10th at Riverbend Hospital," Dr. Lawson asked, her voice calm. "Jennifer presented with severe abdominal pain," I stated, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. "Her CA-125 level was elevated. Dr. Stone dismissed it as gastritis, sent her home with antacids." I pushed a packet of copies across the table, medical records I'd meticulously compiled. The protocol for a patient over 50 with these symptoms should have triggered immediate imaging. Later, I recounted Mom's readmission to St. Mary's. By March 18th, her weight loss was undeniable, over 10% in a month. Dr. Hale, the oncologist, saw it. He should have ordered a full assessment, but he paused treatment without further analysis. A tight knot formed in my stomach. The memory of her waxy pallor was still too fresh. When I spoke about the final days, my voice cracked slightly. On March 20th, her pain was escalating. The OSIRA score hit 15. Dr. Kim, the resident, noted it, but the attending physician dismissed it as flu-like symptoms. No new care plan, just ignored. The frustration, raw and old, vibrated in the room. The various medical staff were called in. Dr. Hale was defensive, citing standard procedures and a heavy weekend patient load. "We followed guidelines as best we could under the circumstances," he offered, avoiding my gaze. Nurse Emily Clark, however, looked genuinely remorseful. Her voice was quiet, almost a whisper. I observed her drastic weight loss. I felt overwhelmed. The ER was full. I didn't push harder, and I regret it. Dr. Sarah Kim, the resident, corroborated my account, her frustration visible. I documented the ACRA score. I argued for imaging. I was overruled. It felt like a communication breakdown in the hierarchy. Hospital administration, represented by legal counsel and a public relations officer, initially issued prepared statements to the media, calling Jennifer's death an unfortunate and complex medical event, and emphasizing the dedication of our staff. They cited unforeseen staffing challenges and resource constraints. During peak hours, deflecting responsibility. The antiseptic smell of the investigation office was almost as bad as the hospital. But then, Dr. Lawson's official findings were released on July 15, 2023. The report was damning. "Our findings indicate that with proper protocol adherence, early detection was highly probable," it read. It specifically cited the bypass of the early detection and treatment of ovarian cancer protocol, the failure to act on elevated CA-125 levels and significant weight loss, and the dismissal of the alarming ACRA score. It concluded that Jennifer Hartwell's death was definitively preventable. The community erupted. Local news channels like KGW-TV ran segments featuring my testimony. Social media buzzed with outrage. Hashtags like "Justice for Jennifer" trending across Oregon. Petitions demanding accountability garnered thousands of signatures. This public pressure became immense, a wave the hospitals couldn't ignore. Within a week of the report's release, St. Mary's Medical Center and Riverbend Hospital issued a joint statement. It was still PR-heavy, but a crack appeared. "While we stand by the difficult decisions made by our dedicated staff under challenging circumstances, we acknowledge that certain aspects of patient care protocols were not consistently followed in Ms. Hartwell's case," it read. "We are committed to reviewing and strengthening our diagnostic practices." It was a vague acknowledgement, but it was an acknowledgement. The tide had turned. We had forced them to admit their failure, opening the door for real change. This wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. Months blurred since Dr. Lawson's damning report. On November 15, 2023, Oregon announced Jennifer's Rule, a groundbreaking new policy named after my mom. Under its core provisions, all patients presenting with concerning symptoms and elevated CA-125 levels now require mandatory imaging, ensuring no red flag goes unexamined. Healthcare staff across the state receive enhanced training on recognizing subtle warning signs of ovarian cancer. Furthermore, an independent patient advocate must now assess every case with elevated risk, providing an essential layer of oversight. The state allocated $250,000 for its phased rollout, beginning with pilot programs at 3 major hospitals in Portland, Eugene, and Salem. Full statewide implementation is targeted for early 2025. This initiative applies to all acute care facilities across Oregon, making it mandatory for compliance. Now, families can demand immediate imaging for key warning signs and advocate for thorough assessments without facing dismissal. Medical staff must strictly follow these new guidelines and consult with specialists whenever red flags appear. Elevated CA-125 results now trigger follow-up testing within 24 hours, and new channels address family complaints within 7 days. Early detection protocols are projected to save at least 200 lives per year statewide. Just last month, a mother in Bend, Oregon, was diagnosed with early-stage ovarian cancer after immediate imaging, receiving life-saving care that might have been delayed before. Despite the progress, ongoing staff shortages continue to impact consistent enforcement. Some hospital administrations also voice resistance, citing cost implications and demanding further budget allocations. Beyond the rule, many facilities have invested in new diagnostic technology and adjusted their weekend staffing schedules. Standing here, a quiet pride fills me, knowing Jennifer's name now champions a cause bigger than her individual tragedy. Yet, the sterile scent of the hospital still catches in my throat, a permanent reminder that no policy can ever bring her back. This victory, hard-won and essential, remains incomplete without her laughter filling the air. Months have blurred since Dr. Lawson's damning report. I still wake to an eerie silence where her morning hum used to be. Jennifer would be 55 now, probably grading papers with a steaming mug of coffee beside her, still full of life. The grief is a dull ache, a constant companion. My trust in the system is fractured, yet a new resolve defines me. I don't just exist, I fight. I still smell the faint vanilla and fresh coffee that used to greet me every morning. Her laughter, a melody, now only plays in my memories. That unwavering kindness, the way she mentored every student, that was Jennifer. Ovarian cancer, when caught early, boasts over a 90% survival rate. Yet late diagnoses, often from overlooked symptoms, still claim too many lives annually across the country. Please know the warning signs: persistent bloating, unmanageable abdominal pain, sudden, unexplained weight loss, and frequent urination. These aren't just minor aches, they demand attention. Document every symptom, every conversation. Ask direct questions. Demand clear answers. Don't hesitate to seek a second opinion. Your voice is your most powerful tool. Jennifer's rule is now active across Oregon, mandating imaging for elevated CA-125 levels and requiring patient advocates. Early detections are happening, saving lives statewide. Yet staff shortages persist, a reminder of ongoing hurdles. No one should endure preventable suffering. Trust your instincts. Demand thorough care for yourself and your loved ones. Systems change when people stand up. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share your story in the comments. I vividly remember Jennifer dancing in the kitchen, her laughter filling the air as she twirled to her favorite song. The sweet scent of fresh coffee and vanilla wafted through, a beautiful contrast to the sterile hospital. She dreamed of traveling to Italy, immersing herself in the art and culture she taught about every day. Her essence lives on, a bittersweet reminder of a love cut short far too soon.